The Chicago Bears have made their 53-man roster official for the 2025-2026 campaign, and this is the first iteration for Ben Johnson and his own team. And let's talk about it because there's a lot to kind of go over and unpack when it comes to these cuts. Obviously, it's very unfortunate because a lot of players' careers pretty much just end here sometimes. And you really don't like to see that, especially when it comes to, this being their dreams and whatnot. But, it's a part of the NFL, it's a part of that. And we're hoping and wishing the best for people or the players that got cut or got waived. We're wishing them the best in their future endeavors, as always, on this channel. So make sure that you're keep aware of that as well. What is up, guys? Welcome back to SoBackSports, and we're so back with another video. And I just want to show my reaction to the official 53-man roster for the Chicago Bears. But before we get into today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 700 subscribers by the end of this month. We have about 5 days left. Obviously, it's a very strong task, but I think we can get together if we, make a final push at the end. But anyways, let's talk about this 53-man roster. Starting off, the biggest thing as well for me is that we have 3 quarterbacks in our quarterback room this year. In the last 2 years or the last 2 seasons, we've had only 2. Usually it was Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent. And this past season, it was Caleb Williams with Tyson Bagent as well. And now we decided to bring in a veteran quarterback in Case Keenum and try to test him in the preseason and in training camp. And it turns out that he has a lot to offer in the eyes of Ben Johnson. And me personally, I really like this move a lot for the sole purpose of having that veteran quarterback within the locker room, especially with 2 young quarterbacks. I get Tyson Bagent has been in the league for 3 years, and this is going to be his 3rd season now. But at the end of the day, he is still a very young quarterback and very inexperienced as well. And Caleb Williams, obviously going into his 2nd season, can use the help from a quarterback like Case Keenum as well, who has been in the league for quite some time. Obviously with the Minneapolis Miracle and whatnot and bouncing from teams to teams. Yes, he was in Houston last year as the backup. I think this will be very beneficial. And I think, for someone like Caleb Williams that's trying to learn Ben Johnson's playbook and how sophisticated that playbook is, I think that this is a good move because Case can help with, the intricacies and the advice for a young quarterback like Caleb to eventually thrive in this league. That's my biggest thing. And I really like what Ben Johnson did with that and keeping Case Keenum. Running backs, Roschon Johnson and Kyle Monangai, and then DeAndre Swift. Obviously, D Swift is going to be the RB1, and then Kyle Monangai and Roschon Johnson are going to be fighting for the RB2 spot. Roschon Johnson obviously is being hurt right now, but Kyle Monangai, hey, he could be a really solid back, especially being drafted in the 7th round. He could be under the radar, and he had a relatively decent preseason. I think he can make a very big case for being RB2. But Roschon Johnson finally has a potential chance to thrive under Ben Johnson's system. I think that it's going to be a big fight between the 2, but we shall see what happens in the coming weeks. Tight ends, obviously Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Durham Smythe. Durham Smythe we got in the offseason. Wide receiver room. We see something great right now. Let's talk about it real quick. Jade Walker, has made the official 53-man roster. Got to give clap my hands to him because, man, what a story that is. Being undrafted free agent, coming into the Chicago Bears camp, knowing how competitive this wide receiver room is going to be. Like, you have so much competition, and for him to put the film for the preseason, show out in so many great ways and being a real big threat as a wide receiver for Caleb Williams, got to give hats off and got to give the props where he deserves it because it was a very tough hill to climb and he was able to finally make it. And I really, really hoped he makes this roster prior to this, and he really did actually. So got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, Ruther Burden, Devin Duvernay is going to be on special teams, and Olamide Zaccheaus had himself a great camp and a great preseason as well. So look forward to seeing Zaccheaus more involved in the Chicago Bears offense. Offensive line, let's talk about it a little bit. Karan Amagaje, Ryan Bates, Theo Benedict, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Braxton Jones, Luke Newman, Joe Thuney, Ozzy Trapillo, and Darnell Wright. What stands out to me is Theo Benedict making the roster. Going to be a big question mark when it comes to the left tackle position because, as Ben Johnson has said numerous times in numerous press conferences, that they haven't made a decision on the left tackle position, even with a week and a little bit more than, or a little bit less than 2 weeks till our game against Minnesota. It will be a big question mark going into the season because that spot is huge. Braxton Jones didn't really have himself a great preseason, albeit, being in his third season or third or fourth, I keep forgetting at this point, in the NFL and being a 5th-round draft pick. I know that's being thrown around a lot, but you got to keep in mind that he was a 5th-round draft pick, played relatively well, but at the same time, it's not enough to protect Caleb Williams, and that's why there's a competition in the first place. You got to keep that in mind, and I think that's what Ben Johnson is trying to battle right now when it comes to deciding on who it is going to be our left tackle at this point. And that's a bit of a concern to me, and if you saw my last video, that was one of the big concerns going into the season is the left tackle spot. Ozzy Trapillo, I think he's trying to fit at right tackle, trying to be the backup right now for Darnell Wright, which, he's been doing pretty solid work for them. And I wasn't too surprised that he was going to make this roster either because he's our 2nd-round pick. Obviously, he's going to make it. But, yeah, overall, the offensive line is solid. Defensive backs, Josh Blackwell, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard III, Kyler Gordon, Elijah Hicks, Jalen Johnson, Nick McLeod, Jonathan Owens, Tyreek Stevenson, and Nashawn Wright. Nashawn Wright made the roster. Another player that, he had a very rocky last game against the Kansas City Chiefs, got burned quite a bit. But overall, he has shown enough in camp to make a roster spot. And with how depleted our room is with Terrell Smith injury, Jalen Johnson is week to week at this point when it comes to his injury. He's probably going to be back by week 1. But, bringing in Nashawn Wright to alleviate that pressure on the DB side, I think that this is a great move. He did show a decent amount to be a backup at least, or be an option for this team, especially when it comes to our DBs being a little bit thin at the moment with all these injuries. Defensive line, Andrew Billings, Austin Booker, Javon Dexter, Daniel Hardy, Grady Jarrett, Dio Dingbo, Dominique Robinson. I was a little surprised about that, actually, because personally, I haven't seen much from Dom Rob, but he did have relatively decent preseason, not too great, nothing to really write home about. But I think, it was a little bit of a surprise when I saw Dominique Robinson make it. But Montez Sweat, obviously, Shamar Turner, and Chris Williams. Shamar Turner, we got to wait because his injury is still there, and we have to see how well he will fit on this team. Haven't seen much about him, but linebackers, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Ruben Hippolyte, Carl Jones, and Noah Sewell. Noah Sewell had himself a great preseason. Obviously, the last game didn't really show that much, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Noah did his thing, and he made the roster. Special teams to end it off and kind of circle back. Cairo Santos, Torrey Taylor, and Scott Daly. Let's move on to who was cut because, let's first talk about the injury reserve. Injury reserve, we have Travis Homer, our running back, and linebacker Ahmed Ogbongbemiga. And waived and injured the following players was Taishi. Oh, well, you can't see that. Okay. Hold on. Let me pull it full screen. Okay. Yeah, this is better. The Tyseem Johnson, Doug Kramer Jr., and Bill Murray. I'll be real. Doug Kramer, he was something for this team. He wasn't the greatest, but he was serviceable relatively, and there were a lot of bad moments. But, I wish them well. I wish all three of these players well and their future endeavors. We waived the following players. Maurice Alexander had himself a really decent preseason. Britton Brown unfortunately didn't make it either. Jonathan Ford, Mekhi Garner, Jamari Chroma, Jordan McFadden. A little bit, he was on the fence of making the roster or being a trade potential for the Chicago Bears, but he ends up being waived. I don't think they found a trade partner. Zach Pickens as well, another pick by Ryan Poles that did not pan out whatsoever. I really didn't expect much. I expected him to get cut at this point. J.P. Richardson, Tyler Scott, another player that Ryan Poles drafted and didn't come to fruition. Tyler Scott didn't do enough in the preseason for him to be even on the roster. And that's just how it is at this point, because he was on the team last year, but he wasn't really playing at all. And we're not just going to bring him back to be a special teamer. We have that already set with Devin Duvernay as well. So O-line Ricky Stromberg. And we released the following players in Miles Boykin, Stephen Carlson, and Tano Casapagnan. Yeah, but all in all, you really don't like to see people get waived and all that. But at the end of the day, that's just a part of the business of the sport. And I think that for the whole purpose of this, everyone did their part during preseason, and it kind of showed, who was able to make the roster. Ben has very high standard in who he wants to keep and who he doesn't want to keep as well. And given how talented this Bears roster is on the offensive side, it does make it a little bit challenging for players to make it on this roster as well. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm really excited to see the season start and these players get the ground running when it comes to playing some football. And obviously we're on our way to Soldier Field to face Minnesota. So looking forward to that. That's going to do it for today's video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far into the video, always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 700 subscribers by the end of this month. I know we can do it together. As always, follow my socials down below. It's going to be in the link down below. And leave a like and comment down below what you guys think about the 53-man roster and what cuts were surprised you or you expected to happen. And as always, guys, we'll see you guys in the next one.